Happy Taylor Swift week.
What?
That's right.
Explain yourself.
New album this Friday.
Oh, holy shit. She got there that quick. That's pretty impressive. She probably already had it in the bag.
Tortured Poets Department. The Tortured Poets Department. The is in the title. It's the TTPD, bitches. I always like that. That's always a great argument. Was it the Beatles, or is it Beatles and you refer to them as the Beatles? You know.
And where do you stand?
The Beatles.
It's on the cover of the records, right?
Yeah. But there's an argument. This goes on in music all the time, whether the is part of the title or not.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why is that an argument in music all the time?
Well,
it's not an argument in the English language.
Well, I will tell you this. As a music publisher, It's a fucking argument on the PROs. It's an argument for legal titles and copyrights and trademarks and...
Yeah. That makes sense. But why else would it be an argument?
What else is there?
That's fair.
The Music Publishers Inc. agent said.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
Was it not on the venue? I don't give a fuck. It's what's legal. Welcome to 2 Shots and a Royalty Check, brought to you by Venmo, Your Money, Your Move, and Liquid Death, Murder Your Thirst. Let's get back into it. What gets you paid and doesn't get you paid? Yes. And it's also, it's also, when you shorten names, so if it's the Tortured Poets Department, if you just shorten it as TPD, that's not correct. It's TTBPD.
Here's a question for you. With all the, the legalese around the word the, where do you stand on the punctuation thing? Because whenever I go into my BMI account, I see a space where I would normally see a comma or an apostrophe.
There is no punctuation like that. In global IFPI terms.
What does IFPI mean?
We're not going to get into it.
I'm just seeing how far down how the hole we can go with this.
International Federation of the Phonographic Industry. Oh my God! But there's IPI and your ISWC, which is International Standard Works Compositions. Like there's all these things that are, lack of a better word, they're databases. Yeah. Databases do not play well with punctuation and grammatical effects such as apostrophes. So that's why you will see can't just CANT. Sometimes you will see it CAN space T.
Yeah.
But that's why. And it's partially has to do with how names get filtered within a database as a file name, because you can really fuck things up if there's a period, and that would make an executable after it. So like all of my X's, if you had, all of my damn X's and that was an expletive or something like that before that, it may be .exe. Not that would matter, but now there's so many file names, codecs, that it could be that way. So, somebody get me a doctor could be .doc.
I find this fascinating, and I know probably nobody else does. I find it fascinating. So let's get the fuck out of this. How much tequila did you drink this weekend?
I drank. You know what I do? We went to a. I don't know what the fuck it's called, but it was like a Czech Republic shot that tastes like a Fireball had a cigarette, and it tastes like a Fireball had a clove cigarette. There's a mutual friend of ours, her friend owns this bar on Broadway. We actually went to Barn Down. It's that new place on Broadway. Don't care for a bar that has 4 flights of stairs. Not a fan. And once you get there, you had to still go up another flight of stairs and then come back down to get your drinks. They had no service. Yeah, I was like, well, okay, I came all the way this way. You will come to my fucking table. So we left there.
I put in the effort.
Yeah, we left there, and, I'm sorry, John Mulaney. I feel really bad about it. I did not want to do it, but I went to a secondary location. I did not fucking want to do it. I hate it. And the party that I was with knows that I hate it. But we did it anyway. But we ended up at this Czech bar and we had some weird shots like that. And Mexican beer and stuff. And
good, as you do, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I had a lot of Mexican beer this weekend. And you?
I went to a few concerts this weekend. I went to some. I think I've mentioned before that the concert scene is rife with tribute acts, and I went and saw a few tribute acts this week, and one cover band / original band was opening for an tribute act, which was it was all fun adventures, and one of the acts featured some fun costume changes, and I enjoyed the theatrics of some of that, and I had some old fashioned. I did have some friends in a band who asked me to order food for them from the bar while they're on stage. They're like, can you order some food so when we're done we can have some snacks backstage? I said, sure. So I walked to the bar and I put it on my tab. I don't give a shit because they're supposed to get a discount on food. I ordered the food. I go get my tab. There's no discount on the food later. I said, I ordered that for the band, had it delivered to the green room. Yeah, they had to come up and order that. I was like, while they were on stage, you wanted them to come do that?
Wow.
Yes. So, that bar shall not be named, but whatever. It was fine. The kid was just doing by the rules of the venue.
I got to stand up for the bar, though, a little bit. The band should have fucking ordered before they hit the stage. Right? I mean, they could have.
I think that, they could have, but that's fair. The bar is a long way from the backstage area.
No, that's true. I know that venue. Yeah, it is. It is almost as far as you could go to the door.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was that was fun. Had a couple of old fashions there and some delicious sweet potato fries. Saturday, similar experience. Couple of old fashions, good rock show. Saw some old friends, and we're talking about putting together another music project that we're revisiting something from the past, shall we say? But no spoilers yet.
Oh, good.
But then yesterday, took the dog to a patio over by the homestead and had a 10% banana triple beer and an Aperol spritz, and my day was fucking great.
Wow.
Yeah.
10% banana. Aperol spritz? What is that? I'm sorry, I'm not bougie enough to know that.
It was not. The Aperol spritz was separate. It's
I see. Okay, thank God. I mean,
so it's like I guess it's like vodka and like some prosecco, and normally they put Sprite in it. I don't fuck with the sugars too much. The refined sugars as much, as he said after drinking a gallon of beer.
And old fashions.
And old fashions. Oh, I don't have them put simple syrup in it. I have them remove the syrups.
Oh, very nice.
But I did snack on the fucking cherry.
Skinny fashions.
It was, so there's this banana beer. It's very, very good, and deceptively, you get through one, you're like, oh, whoops. But it was very good. And then the Aperol spritz was just kind of it's like an Italian thing, I believe.
Yeah.
I could be on the internet.
Thing. Oh, lovely.
Oh, lovely. Is that person Scottish?
No, I think so, actually. I was trying to think about what the name was. A Prosecco with press. There was a whole thing on TikTok last year about that. It was the chick from Game of Thrones.
Oh,
lovely.
Fucking Emilia Clarke?
Yeah. No. The dark hair one. Yeah, I can't remember what the actual drink was, though. It was, but like she goes into, it was like she was interviewing a co-star about a Prosecco drink.
Nice.
Yeah.
The spritz is an Italian wine-based cocktail commonly served as an aperitif across Italy. It consists of Prosecco, digestive bitters, and soda water. So they had Sprite in this one to sweeten it. It was, I had them remove the Sprite.
Ah, very nice. That's what it was. It was, she says stunning. It's Emma Darcy.
Ah.
A Negroni Spagliato with Prosecco. in it.
Oh.
Ooh, stunning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Glad I got that in. Sorry, everyone.
yeah. What's fine. That's fine. So yeah, like all in all, like it was really a fucking stunningly nice weekend around here.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed some adventures, saw some music, made some music. I'm in the middle of 2, 3. Took a guy up to tour the big studio, and here's a question for you.
I'm ready.
Here's a series of questions.
Ooh,
for you.
a series of questions.
Okay, so I'm a new customer of yours, like a potential customer of yours.
Welcome.
We've traded some emails. You have given me, you've told me what I'm getting. You've told me what the prices are.
Deliverables.
Thank you very much. You've told me what I'm going to get.
Scope of
for
project.
What I spend.
SOP.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. This brought to you by mansplaining. Mansplaining is short for man explaining.
Well, actually.
Well, my son does that to me all the time. Well, actually, in reality, that's. But anyway, so I've told you all this stuff. Do you then walk into the studio session and in front of the studio owner, who I have an agreement with, to be able to work out of there? We have a certain. I make sure he gets his rate. Do you then start haggling with me in the room about the price of things?
You do not.
Okay, thank you.
No, once
so that's
you're
my
in
first
the
question.
studio, and I make this clear to almost every band, artist, musician, whomever I've talked to. Once we're done with the money talk, we're done with the money talk.
Yeah.
Like that's it. We're done. Like there's no more. Let's move on to the creative stuff. Once you get to the studio, we don't talk about time or budget or whatever. We already know what those things are. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another. The other part was the time the timeline on the whole thing, and the when people come to you, I'm sure you've made this assessment too. When somebody once is part of the whole pre-production process, is somebody sends me a work tape, and the challenging part I found of late. This isn't really as I'm now at a place where I can say no to people, which is new. And if somebody comes into me and they say, we're ready to go like right now, and I listen to the work tape and I go, no, you're not.
Yeah.
They're like, yes, we are. I said, no, you're not, because that guy's late. That guy's out of time. That guy over there is doing this. Your harmonies are out of tune. You're a bluegrass quintet. Not to call this person out. I'm not trying to, but you're not ready for this, and we're going to have to spend some time tightening and honing that. The second I get into that, we are, then I'm not working with you anymore. Because I do not have to have this fight with you. Because I'd rather just fix it and get into the studio and make a great product. Because if you're coming out of my studio with my name on it and my studio's name on it and all that stuff, and you come up with a subpar project because you didn't want to put the work in before you walked in the room, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of the problem that I've had working with independent artists for a long time. As I got to a point where I was like splitting time working with sort of newcomers and then like sort of mid-level indies, like trying to break to the next level, and then was working with people who are, been in the game for a long decades. And the people who are new to the game need the most help. Yeah. But what you find is like they're the ones that bitch the most, and they think they know. Like they think they know. They don't want to pay other people for information, and once they get it, they want to question it because they kind of want to be a part of it. They want to be a part of the debate. Like, I'm ready. Oh no, we've played 1,000 shows. We know this song inside and out. And I will just come back to them. What's the first chord of the bridge? Yeah. Right now. What, do you know it? You don't know it? Get the fuck out of my face. You don't know it. You do not know it inside and out. Now, if you're just playing live, you don't need to know that. Not everyone needs to know that. If you're going in to record it, we already need to have a shorthand. There are little things like that. And I'm saying that those people in the mid-level trying to make it kind of a little bit bigger or establish themselves, when you tell them, please get to know everything and work on it and have it down and let me have a better work tape from you, with this change made or whatever, there's no bitching. They just turn it around and they're like, that's a G sharp 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so suddenly they are so much more professional than anybody else. And they're not too far away from the people who are just coming into it. But God, they really want the guidance. And that's who I like to work with. And so I found that, like you said, it became so much easier for me to turn down those things. Like, I know you need me the most, but you're not going to listen and you're not ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was really where the challenge, because it's not like, it's not like I want to, say no.
No.
Especially when somebody's, coming in and say, yeah, we would like to work with you and that I've been recommended. But if you're looking, again, the conversation happens, I'm not interested in just being an engineer. If you want an engineer, I can think of about, 100 other guys that are really great engineers and do not charge as much money as I do, because that's not what I do.
Yeah, Google Home Studio. You'll get that.
Yeah, exactly. Or do it yourself.
Yeah.
You can do it yourself. So it's a question of, like, if you want to work with a producer, you're walking into a place where we're going to make something great together. We want an outside perspective to drive this into the best place possible.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway,
I also think that the problem with those people, what
do you mean, you people?
I just find that the problem with those people, it's that the reason why you're interested is, there is a cool song there. There are cool things there. So it's not just about the money. And it's but if I can't get to the vision of this, it's going to piss me off that it doesn't go out the door that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can hear the potential in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And absolutely. Because and I think a lot of younger musicians don't get that, is that, a lot of us, we look at the credits, we look at who mixed it, we look at who produced it, and no matter how big they are, I'm not talking about just the top producers or whatever, but especially in independent stuff that's really good. And you're like, oh, yeah, I can see his fingerprints on it or her fingerprints on it. Yeah. And I did that. I want that kind of thing. But, if you're not allowed to do your thing and it goes out the door that way and someone sees your fingerprints on it and they're like, why the hell did he have an electric banjo going on here? That makes no fucking sense. Well, because you can't explain in the credits, because the goddamn guitarist is stupid.
I heard a couple of stories while I was up there about other acts. I've got a friend who's also one of the assistant engineers up there, and he's a fucking great producer and engineer in his own right, and sat in a session with a particular musician, and was literally getting slapped and yelled at for 5 days straight. And I was like, at what point do you just go, fuck this, man? I'm not here to take this.
Just hit record and go have a smoke.
Walk directly through the live room and open the back door to traffic.
Hey, you know what we should do? We should come up with an app that connects to your phone to the talkback button, and then go out back and have a smoke and be like, that's good, just take it again.
You remember we've another engineer friend who's got a great studio down in Texas, who's he told me a story about when this band wanted to do their whole thing live, and so he isolated everybody. He's a brilliant engineer, brilliant producer, and he isolated everyone. He got them all set up, and they started playing. And he's like, this is fucking awful. Just like, this is the worst thing. And so they would, they'd get the guy at the last chord and everything would be a little bit out of tune, because that's what happens when you record things live and you beat a stringed instrument. They'd like, well, did we get it? He'd hit the talkback button and you just go, you did it. You sure did it. Let's do it again. And that was like apparently they were. I mean, it was like 15 takes.
Yeah.
I did get told the other day that we don't believe in doing more than 5 takes.
Oh, you don't believe in it, do you?
and of course, immediately, I'm just trying. Here's what I'm trying to do: is I'm trying to encourage the people that are listening to this. I don't mean to make this a bitch fest about this particular client.
I do,
but again, I don't normally deal with people like this because I don't normally let I actually end up having an interaction with people, like, and having a long, like, there's a whole lot of conversations happen before somebody walks into my studio. This one happened pretty quick, so I didn't really get a chance to vet, whether or not I really wanted to work with this person or not. Right. And I kind of still do, but I also, the second that comes out of my mouth, that's like dink flag.
Yeah.
Because I'm going, okay, that means you're not willing to put in the work to get the exact thing. Oh, well, I think we can get 4 or 5 songs done in one day.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a red flag.
Well, I mean, I understand, like, once you get the set, well, the other part is if it's a bluegrass quintet, quartet, sextet, I don't care what it is. I mean, they had like a bunch of, like, they had fucking Sam Bush up there a couple of weeks ago playing some stuff. Like, doing, like, it's just like legend. And I like, there's a bunch of, like, old cats we know that were, like, really nervous that Sam Bush was going to be in the room that day. And it was just, like, it was really, really fucking cute. But like, the second I get that, I'm thinking about, like, setting up this band. I'm going, okay, so if I'm doing a bluegrass thing, we are gonna have some direct mics, but we're also gonna have that one mic that captures everything.
Yeah.
And then there's like, the bluegrass room mic, and I'm probably going to lean heavier on that than I am on the direct mics when I'm mixing, but because I that's the kind of the old timey sound they want to go with.
Yeah.
Now, add on top of that they wanted to record to tape. And and I'm like, and I'm thinking about all, like, I know all the logistics that are going to happen to make that thing. And you're still telling me you only want to do 5 takes. I'm going to want to do 1,000 rehearsals before you put it down on tape if we're going to do that.
Yeah, God, can you go direct to tape, or do you still go through the box up there?
We can go direct to tape if we want to, but
we can go direct if you want to.
Well, that's the other part is I immediately was like, I don't think you want to do that.
You don't.
Because, I mean, like, the emulations are close enough that I can get you that sound if you want to get that sound. But, I mean, if you want to tell everybody you recorded the tape, I can turn the fucking thing on. I mean,
I can run a parallel track. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but, like, we started talking about what tape costs.
Yeah. And
it's like there's the thoughts that, like,
and the time.
Oh God, yeah, and I'm the amount of time, the amount of blood on my fingertips after
we don't have enough Scotch tape here to go direct to tape.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It was one of those moments where you recognize, like, I just wanted to say thank you to all the artists that are actually looking for, to grow. And I mean, because I'm also looking to do that, which is why I work with engineers and producers that are better than me all the time,
Yeah.
As a musician, if I go into a studio, I work with, people that are much better at this than I am, and I'm pretty good at it. But I'm always looking to get learned. Just because I know what all the buttons do doesn't mean that I get to fucking tell that guy what to do.
No. And even, I mean, and you and I have worked with some pros in the studio too, and it's so funny to see how they deal with it. They'll just sit there quiet, be like, "Did I get it? Let me take another one." They're not trying to rush through 5 takes. Let me take another one. I feel like that one rushed a little bit. Like, they know. You've been through it a bunch of times, and you fucking...
Yeah.
You just get to the point, like, why are you trying to rush through this? This is it forever.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, get it right. If it ends up being 5 takes, great.
Speaking of which, one of the things we did do after that guy left was we listened to the T-Pain cover record. Have you heard that record yet?
No.
He did a cover, like, so there's this, like, cover of War Pigs that was flying around.
Yeah, I've heard that.
A couple years ago. I heard the recording of the album of it. They put on the vinyl, we turned on the fucking tube power amp, we fired up the whole system, and in the live room, blasted the shit out of that. Ooh. And Joey, the studio owner, and I sat in a couple of chairs and were just floored by how good that record sounds. And we're going... This is the kind of shit we want to make. Yeah. We want to make records that sound that fucking good all the time.
Yeah.
And not rush through.
T-Pain's a monster too, vocally.
Oh my God, what a fucking singer! And the delivery, and you can hear the drummer's probably a gospel guy, and some of the chord turnarounds they used instead of using the Sabbath versions, they had a couple of substitutions in the bass. It's just fucking amazing. So that lifted my spirits.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
It's real good. I highly recommend that to everybody. And he's sitting, he's like the band's on one part of the beat and his vocals are sitting so far back. It is just a fucking sexy ass cover.
That's
great. It
great.
is so good. Anyway.
That's great. Hey, I want to update you on that Kickstarter. On that Kickstarter that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Where a friend was trying to raise 30 grand.
Yeah. I came across it, by the way.
They made over it.
Good.
And they did it, and they raised 40,000. Actually, closer to 42.
I think I came across that, and I did contribute because I'm a fan of that person's.
Yes. And so what I wanted to do for the people that are listening to this, because I had some personal questions to me about, do you really think Kickstarters work? I don't have that many fans or whatever, and I just wanted to tell people and give them like a little bit of insight into how they pulled it off. And so it ends up being about 42,000 that they raised, trying for 30.
That's great.
And they did not need 10,000 fans. It was only 411 backers. Okay.
Wow.
And as most Kickstarters are, they're like the first one is, like a digital copy, a download. The second reward is like CDs. If you're into that, and then of course plus the download and all the rest of it. A signed CD. The third one was like an album, a vinyl, a signed vinyl, as well as the download code, maybe a love letter, that sort of thing. The other one was like a vinyl and a T-shirt, and then it goes down to like sort of a photography print or handwritten lyrics and things like that. But what I wanted everyone to know is that the cheapest thing, which was $15, did not have the most backers. Just the download? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. The one that had the most backers was the CD, a signed CD. Now, I think we all know that probably all of those people aren't going to be playing the CD.
No.
And this is what we constantly push this to people, telling them that people want to vote for you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They want to help you. They know where this has nothing to do with, is that, money worth it? It's like, is the money helping you the most? And am I getting something a little special for it? Right. Mm-hmm. And so like the discs were, like 125 backers. The vinyl was 65 backers. If you had the vinyl and the T-shirt, it was 33. So it was 100 for vinyl and a T-shirt. Mm-hmm. And between that and the disc, those were by far and away the biggest ones. Now, they did have like some, kind of big ones that were like $500 for, like a coaching session on Zoom or something, or $1,500 to like sponsor a song, or karma for and each one of those had like just a smattering, one or two, not too many. Yeah. And the point is that even like the big one, like a house concert, which is like for a super fan, only one backer on that. Yeah. And so I just, the vast majority of money that went into this Kickstarter was somewhere between $25 and $100. Yeah. Not 15 and not necessarily 300 or 500. It's good to have those in there for your super fans. Yeah. But I think back in the day that a lot of musicians, a lot of independent artists would consider that sort of $100, $50 mark like super fan mark. That's not the case anymore. That's sort of the norm. Like, people do realize, I'm going to get a signed vinyl or a signed CD. It doesn't matter how they listen to it. They're going to download it, or they'll probably listen on Spotify, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But like that kind of stuff, that is like your mid zone now. Yeah. So just to let you know, so 400 backers, 42,000.
Yeah, that's an average of $100 a person, kind of about $105 a person. Yeah,
yeah, and like I said, there's a smattering of the over 500, and it's just like, like just a few, maybe 5 tops over 500s, a few 500, one in 1,000 category, which is like sponsor a song. But I mean, I think that this person also at the end of the campaign, when they knew they were going to pass the threshold, started saying, everyone's going to be listed on the album liner notes. at that point, and so they probably pulled down another $10,000 off of that.
That's cool. Yeah, that's all. Congratulations to them. Yes.
Also,
well done.
Also one of them, which is some work that we trade in, a custom written song for $2,500.
Yeah.
Did not go.
Wow.
This person is a great songwriter.
This person is a very good songwriter.
That would be a pretty killer reward. But I just wanted to just briefly touch on it and like just sort of circle the square here that on that Kickstarter, yes, it's working. You don't need 1,000, 10,000 fans. You know, I mean, they could have done this. Basically, I think I did take a look at it when they hit 30, and it was. I think you could probably say it was 100 average. So I think they're at like 300 people, 300 backers at that point. So just so you know, that is like for most of you out there in a band with a mailing list, you probably have 500 to 1,000 people at least.
Yeah.
So it's doable, and you may not need the whole 40. Like your budget may be more in line with doing an EP, say for 20 or 25, and then you could probably work these numbers backwards. Right, so for every $10,000 you need 100 people, roughly. So that's kind of what you're looking at. So just to let everybody know, that's where that one ended up in 2024.
Yeah, that's really good. That's good. That's great information. The other thing I just had the conversation about the mailing list again, the direct line to your fans, because I had a person say to me, "Well, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on all this stuff, and I'm posting all the time about my shows and about my thing." And it's like, but algorithmically speaking, your fans may not be seeing that because of how they interact with your posts,
your fans
and because
will
of how
not
you
be seeing that.
will not exactly. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be polite. They will not see it. But if you have a robust mailing list, you have a robust line of direct contact to your fans, that is a much more efficient way for you to use your time.
Absolutely.
And I'd be curious, because I think the person we're talking about has been working in this industry for quite some time.
Yeah.
And has a very, very big, direct contact line. That doesn't mean that all of your fans are going to see that email. Sometimes it might go to spam. Sometimes the email's dead. Sometimes all the stuff. Fortunately, these, like MailerLite and Mailchimp and all that shit, Constant Contact and all that stuff, they do start noticing when those things consistently happen. So you're able to, keep your lists being more efficient. But the more that you can utilize that to directly interact with your fans, the better your chances of succeeding in these campaigns.
Absolutely. And hey, listen, they did all the things. They did the social campaign. They did teaser videos. They did, something like, if my music were a nut, what nut would it be? Those kind of fun things.
That sounds like
Yes, it does sound like them.
Yeah.
And it was great, and had them eating nuts and like which one tastes like what, and it's little things like that. They did all the things, and they are not very social media heavy.
No.
But so they still did that, and it did. That's why you have to be a volume shooter when you're on social media, because if you're only hitting 10 or 15%, hopefully tomorrow you'll hit another different 10 to 15%.
Yeah.
And then the next day another 10 to 15%. But there's going to be overlap for the people who are online more than your other fans.
The content consumers, such as yourself.
And also, do not sleep on SMS marketing, on text. So I agree. Email marketing is when we say email, we mean email and text.
Yes,
especially for the younger crowd, because there are a lot of people who have just given up on email. Like that is the surest way not to reach them. It will just go into that promotions or updates box, and okay, for instance, how many emails do you have right now? Do you know?
No.
If you open up your Gmail?
I'm sorry. I do know how many emails I have in my Gmail, but I also have everything filtered to within an inch of its life.
Yeah.
And I have separate emails for various projects as well.
Yeah. It's not fair.
And I can also, but also they're all I mean, there's probably about 400 there. I sat next to a guy with a red dot on his fucking email that said 41,614. And then I remember this post last week about Gmail offering to declare email bankruptcy, which is you've outkicked your coverage here. You are going to go ahead and we'll just declare bankruptcy, wipe it all out, start again. Cool, great.
I'm with him. I mean, I'm not there.
41,000.
I'm not that
41,000.
cool. I am 10,769.
That's unread messages.
Yeah.
Okay. How
I'm
many
looking
of
at
them
like
come
right
from
today.
Yeah.
So today on this day,
Yes.
I have 67 unread messages, and it's before 11 o'clock. Now,
I mean, it is.
Here's the thing: I am not going to read all of those. I don't give a fuck about zero inbox.
Yeah.
And so I am very much a subject line reader.
Yeah.
I'm very much I get pitches all the time for syncs and publishing, and then also for writing about music. And so I have a lot of that stuff. And the PR people kind of know, like, if I don't want it, I'm not going to write back and go, yeah, we're not writing about this. Or same thing with like a music pitch. Like if I don't find any place for it, I'm not working that right now, I'm not going to write you back and say I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
That's my answer is
silence
in that you didn't get an answer.
Yeah.
So, but, and I'm not the only one like that. Everybody has their own way of doing it.
Yeah.
But I was going to say how many unread texts I have right now? 0.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing is I don't have a problem with that piece of it's like if I send you something, especially if it's not something you asked for and I don't get a response, I might follow up once, and then if I don't hear from it, okay, that's fine. But I had somebody ask me for something recently and say, hey, can you do this, provide this and this and this and this, and then I didn't get a response, and I followed up, and the thing I'm like, I'm okay with you saying no, but don't ask me for it and then not respond.
Oh no, that pisses me off.
That part pisses me off.
Yeah.
So
if we're in a back and forth, and someone drops out, you probably should never ask me again, because that is just a waste of time for yours and mine.
Yeah.
You're too busy. Clearly, I carved out time for you, and I love your text though, because like you're always on do not disturb, and then you'll text right back.
Yeah, I don't. The reason I'm on Do Not Disturb is because I don't want to receive messages from anyone unless they mean it.
Yeah. And I disrespect it. I don't give a fuck. Like that's on you.
Also,
that's on you.
I don't want the notifications until I don't want the notifications. I am okay. I have an Apple Watch.
It's more for me to know. Don't expect something back right away. Right? Like that's
I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of right now I'm editing drums, but it's I have an Apple Watch, right? I have a watch that yells at me and tells me, Stuart, you did not close your rings yesterday. I'm like, fuck you. And so I've just gotten to this point where I am over being a slave to the rings and to the devices to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
So I just have it off because I'm like, I will choose to check it when I want to check it.
That's why I never got one.
Yeah, I do like it when I go work out, though.
I don't need that. Have you, Michael? Have you been taking your steps? Your blood pressure's a little high. Have you meditated today? Maybe you should drink some water. Did you know that there's a new album coming out tomorrow?
Oh my God! Who's Tuesday? Who's releasing an album on a Tuesday?
Oh, there is a band releasing an album tomorrow, by the way.
I hope that they're a fucking massive national act and they can do that.
They're not, nor will they be.
Okay, so somebody did ask me recently,
they won't get the IQ number.
Why do you release on Friday? That was the thing, and I had a series of answers, but I'm curious. Why do you release on Friday, not Tuesday?
Look, I understand the arguments against it. So global release is on Friday, which actually means midnight the night before.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That is a major industry thing. That is a major label kind of thing. Yeah. And the reason why is kind of the same reason why movies come out. It's because you are trying to count global numbers over the weekend. Mm-hmm. on a release, and that the idea is people have more time to dig into an album, people have more time to focus on entertainment over the weekend, so you have a better chance of someone listening to it over a weekend. When you look at Spotify, Apple to a certain extent, there are numbers that they look at, which are conglomerations of how much social presence you have, how many people are adding you to a playlist, how many people are listening to it at one time all the way through. And this gives you like basically your queue number. And that is your like relevance number on Spotify. That plays into how much Spotify throws it out to algorithms and therefore to playlists. And we can argue about whether the playlists matter and all the rest of it, but the algorithms do. They do matter.
Yes, they do matter.
So if you're trying to play in sort of a bigger game, that's why you're releasing on Friday for one reason, okay? The argument is that you're going to get caught up in all these major label releases that come out every Friday. If everybody's releasing music on Friday, why does my independent band do so? And that's why a lot of independent artists think it's a good idea to release on Tuesday. And it may be for your little fan base. It might be. But again, I've said it a million times and I'll say it again here. You are not releasing music to people. You're releasing music to the machine that will show the people. And so if you don't play the machine right, the people will not get it. And so that's the main point that I have. And you can argue with it. Maybe your fans like it on a Tuesday or Wednesday, get out of the wash. I understand your reasoning for that, but you'll never break.
Yeah.
And
because
I will
if you
also
want to
give
go beyond that.
I'll also give you the other huge reason in my world. Music supervisors are looking for music on Friday and Saturday. I do it every single Friday. I'm in a little core group of people that do it. Music supervisors and licensors. We have search terms that are in, like new music this day, uploaded in the last hour, in the last 24 hours, under 4 minutes. And you want to see, like, okay, so there was an example last year, and you can do this in YouTube if you want to, but you search new music released in the last 24 hours, under 4 minutes, independent music tagged, right?
Yeah.
That takes out like a whole bunch of people that didn't tag their music right, that have too long of a song, that released it on Tuesday. I will not see your song. I won't. I just won't see it. And you're looking for a song that's under 300 views that night. That you find that is really good. You're like, because you can break that song, you can help break it. And we've seen it in like a music kind of supervisor text thread or like a little group chat that is basically, holy shit, you have to hear this. And those things stand out with a bunch of us that are like, oh, this is really good for this category. Or who's working on a movie that would have this on it. And I just, you'll see me post, like a lot of times, like you will personally see me on my private shit that posts like something like sync bait. That is what we're looking for, is sync bait.
Your Friday feed is awash in new music.
And I turn people on, and that's just the shit I want to share for a reason. It may be for a good reason or a bad reason. But like, I don't share everything I listen to. I probably listen to 100 songs on Friday night.
Good Lord. At 10
and that's
p.m.
even
on
if
a
I
Friday
go
night.
out. Even if I go out, I'll bust that out at some point around Friday night.
But we've also talked about so Friday night,
but
not
it's already
Thursday
been
night.
out Thursday night.
So like, but you listen to music differently than, like, you're not listening to an entire song. If that song doesn't grab you within the first 40 seconds at the most, I mean, you do give them the play at least. I give them the play, and I will. Then I have like a secondary list of shit. That I'm like, ooh, hooky. I gotta go back. And then I'll go back and listen to it, and then listen. And then if it's really good, then it rules my weekend. Last weekend there is a song from Lawrence. I saw that one and I listened to it. It's fucking great.
It's Goodbye to the band. It's such a fucking great song. It just kills me. This whole I'm a little late to Lawrence. A lot of people in New York know about him. and you should get on board because
Get on the Lawrence
goddamn,
train.
they're so good. And not only that, but they're independent. They're signed to an independent label. They blew up. They fucking toured with Jonas Brothers, you know, as an independent, and they're selling out their own tour right now all over.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and
Like,
I mean,
what's
like they're coming
big
here
venues?
to the Fillmore.
Fuck.
That's
all
not what
right.
an independent band does.
Nope.
You go to the Gothic. You go to the Bluebird.
Or the Ogden if you're doing okay.
Or the Ogden, but like that's a 2,000 plus room. That's pretty good. Yeah. So and people know them from Don't Lose Sight. Baby, don't lose sight. Baby, don't lose sight.
Yeah.
That's them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Nice.
I'm all in on Lawrence.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and that song will rule my whole weekend.
Nice.
Or like there will be 2 or 3 that do.
When you as a music supervisor start listening, do you then go to YouTube and see if they've done all the video stuff, or are you listening through YouTube, or are you through Spotify?
Yeah, I prefer going through YouTube first.
Okay.
Because I just like the way that the information is provided there a lot better.
Yeah.
Sometimes lyrics are very easy to see there. You can see you can see where the ownership chain is, like who the publisher is, all that kind of stuff on the music rights side. You can see kind of how I can always tell what kind of a team you have by what your YouTube looks like.
Yeah.
Your release looks like.
Yeah.
Like if it's like you should have one that comes out from your distributor that's just like the band, you know,
just the cover
release,
photo.
the thumbnail.
Yeah.
And then, you know, some sort of fake video. And I'm not looking for video. Sometimes I am. Sometimes the video's cool, but even that will tell you a little bit about, like, for instance, with Lawrence on this new song, it's a solo shot on a phone of the two of them. It's a brother and sister sitting in front of like a taco stand or a taco, you know, a restaurant on a bench, just mouthing the words to the master of the song. Yeah. And she's being cute, eating a taco the whole time or eating a burrito the whole time. And he's like going in, and it's a solo single shot. And that tells me so much about them. Yeah. Like they get it. You know, it's another piece of content. And it was fun, and they're into it. They didn't spend too much money on it. You know?
Probably took half an hour to shoot the fucking thing too. Exactly.
And not too long to edit it. You know, it's great, and it's a lyric video basically. It's a visualizer. And so, I prefer listening on YouTube, partially because I also listen internationally. Yeah. So I'm listening to like K-pop and J-pop and like the latest shit out of India and so I'm listening to a lot. And same thing with like Britain and stuff like that. And that may not come through as quickly on like a Spotify or Apple. But, you know, the other problem, and I've heard this from other music supervisors, like it depends on whether you're working on a project or not, too. Sometimes I'm listening and then I just know that there's some other people working on shit and I'm like, ooh, let me throw that over to her. Yeah. Or, you know, give them a heads up that I heard this. And then they'll do the same thing for me if I'm working on something specific. But the other big thing that I do because of YouTube is that when you do this shit on Spotify or Apple Music, it will completely fuck up your algorithm. You know, I will be listening to 8-bit metal music, then K-pop, then a country American song, then R&B, then a bunch of hip hop, then some Bulgarian hip hop, then a Russian traditional song, and you know, so like the next recommendation track on Spotify is like, I don't know, Joe Walsh. What the fuck do you want? What do you want from me? Like Spotify seriously looks at me and is like, I don't know, 9 Inch Nails, I guess. Yeah. It's so funny how people don't think like that. Like I had my music. I was listening to stuff. I was listening to a bunch of reference mixes, and like it had my suggested artists, and it was like, Bird Talker,
the Wallflowers, Slayer, just like fucking Ice-T. Busta Rhymes was on there because I went down a Busta rabbit hole just by myself.
Yeah.
You turn it on in the editing bay, and I think I was vacuuming a bunch of shit around here and getting some dust bunnies out of the corner because it's gross. But yeah, you're not. It's not just about the things you like. It's about like what your activity is like on these platforms.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a man of a certain age. I listen to a lot of young pop music.
Yeah.
And because I personally like it, but I also know that that's kind of the hotness. That's where there's a 23-year-old gal that I've known for many, many years who just put out a new drop last Friday.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I had to listen to it a few times because there's a producer thing. How I feel about Madeline. There's a few people like that.
Yes.
That I'm just,
absolutely.
I love that kind of shit. I like Princess Pop. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
As well as listening to Metallica do Elton John. And so like the algorithm is like, who are you? What has your daughter listening to your music? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then, I will be listening to Taylor Swift live when it comes out. There's that kind of shit that I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is personal. But yeah, I prefer YouTube. We should get into that a little bit. Because I had a question that came up from a band, an artist, that said, we don't do YouTube because we think music videos are dead. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do I think?
Yeah.
That is incorrect, Alex.
You're fools!
It is still the world's biggest music streamer, right?
By far.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's by far the biggest thing. And YouTube Music is separate from YouTube. But I will even tell you that YouTube Music has over 77 million subscribers. The global music audio reach is 1.3 billion. Actually, it's 1.7 now. YouTube Music is the third most downloaded music app worldwide. This is just YouTube Music, which almost none of you use. YouTube received 47% of all music streaming listenings in 2021. The most subscribed YouTube channels, T-Series, that's a music channel. Mr. Beast is on there, but then it goes to Coco Melon, that's also a music channel. Kids Diana Show, that's basically they do music. Like most of it is music. The most streamed video of all time is Baby Shark. That's music. The second one is Despacito. That's music.
Yeah.
The third one is Johnny Yes Papa. That's music. Like, music is YouTube. And a lot of people don't look at it that way. And again, it doesn't matter whether it's a video or whether it's a thumbnail that's up there. It doesn't really matter. And the growth is just constant. 2022 was 2.52 billion users per month.
Good
and then
Lord.
it grew in 2023 to 2.49.
That is a lot.
It's a lot.
That is an insane amount.
In fact, 47% of all global internet users access YouTube every single month.
Whoa.
So half, Eddie, half.
That's huge.
Yeah. And so here's the other thing that I would like to point out to everyone about YouTube. Especially for music. You can juke the system so much easier than Spotify or Apple. It is a search engine. YouTube is a search engine. For on demand. And so because of the description, you have a lot more chance to sort of SEO your way into someone's feed. Whereas on Spotify, you don't. You're going to come up with a bunch of different artists if you search for like one song name. YouTube very much works on relevance. And so relevance, meaning that's an algorithmic term, but relevance a lot of times comes down to upload date. Spotify doesn't work that way. That isn't the most important thing. It is one of the first three, but it will show you the more popular track. Like if you search for Crazy in Love,
Yeah.
It's not going to show you all the people that released Crazy in Love today. It's going to show you Beyonce's Crazy in Love first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it thinks that you most likely are looking for that. On YouTube, it will show you that, but you have like 4 or 5, and you can do it to relevance to upload date. And it is much easier for you to get into someone's feed. If you want to play the ad game, holy shit, YouTube is so much easier to do than doing ads on Facebook and Instagram, trying to put people into a Spotify premium playlist. Because they can't pick it if they're free. Because if you're free on YouTube, you can still listen to anything and skip the ad. So you're also have bigger global reach, which is really super important. By the way, it's one of those things that YouTube is also the easiest way to share your music. Yeah. So if you share your Apple Music profile, okay, your chances of getting someone to click on that are something like 15 to 20%. Yeah. And they've got to know that they use Apple, because they won't even get the bump. If they're if you're sharing Tidal, get the fuck out of here. If you're sharing Deezer, get the fuck out of here. If you're sharing Spotify, again, they may be a free user and think, oh, yeah, I'm on Spotify. Nope, not for demand. You're not gonna be able to do that. It's gonna take you
7 other tracks first.
It's gonna take you to the random playlist, and it probably won't be your music. It will be Lana Del Rey or somebody that's already paid. Yeah. And so it is the easiest way to share your music, and the best way, in my opinion, to do it. Yeah. So I think the problem is so many people think about it as a video platform, and it is. Don't get me wrong, it absolutely is, and you should be using video. But in terms of music, there's a lot of people that just want to listen to shit. And and especially this is something a lot of musicians don't think about. Globally, the reason why music on YouTube is so much more popular than, like, say, a Spotify or an Apple, or even like a localized streamer like a Tencent or QQ in China. The reason why is because the load on your phone is so much less. Yeah. Yeah. So like in spotty Wi-Fi areas, that kind of thing, YouTube is the best performer across all mobile platforms worldwide.
Agreed. And you are as always spot on.
You are Spotify on.
Spotify on. I think that's YouTube is one of the only ones that's not platform dependent, is what you're essentially saying. Like, I can send, if somebody doesn't have any type of streaming or subscription, they can still watch a YouTube video on their browser, on their phone, on their computer, or anything.
And also, yes, that's true. And also, it works for olds. So like, there's a lot of olds that are like, I don't know, I'm not going to open up my Spotify app or whatever these things are. I'm not on the book face. I don't care about the music Apple thingy bob. I don't have any of that stuff. You send them a YouTube video, and they're like, click. I know what that is. Yeah, like that's also a kind of a big thing. And by the way, when I say olds, I mean like 40 and over.
Ow!
Like, yeah.
Ow!
Yeah.
Ow!
I know.
There's
some millennials that are just like, there's also and you need to pay attention to this. When Spotify was the hotness 10 years ago, 5 years ago. Yeah. Right? Some of those people have fallen off of Spotify because the price increases, because of Joe Rogan, because of the podcast shit, whatever it is. There's a lot of people who are anti music streamer platform. I don't even have that app. I deleted it. Fuck that. Yeah. But because of the Chrome interaction with YouTube, you can still send someone a YouTube thing that doesn't open a YouTube app. It just, boom. It has like basically an embedded YouTube file within Chrome. And that's on everyone's phone. Same thing on Safari or whatever. But the point is that it is cross-platform and cross-demographic. Yeah. Really easy for anyone to use. Yep.
And that's ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want it to be easy for your fans to get to your stuff.
And, okay, so, let me just give you a few more things. If you love a song on Spotify, how do you tell the artist? You can't. If you do on YouTube, go in the comments. Put a thumbs up. Love this. Blah, 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 blah. Emoji. You can do it.
Hit that bell.
Yeah. It's really easy to open up a Spotify channel or to be logged into Spotify as a subscriber. If you have a Gmail, it doesn't really matter. It's really easy. You don't have to go through any process. You don't even have to pay for anything. But the other thing is that Spotify Premium is really picking up. So Spotify it should be part of your mix for all of these reasons and more.
Yeah.
I also think that you should have all of your music on YouTube on a private playlist.
Yes.
Especially for supervisors. That's if you're not using Disco and all the rest of the things. That's an easy way to do it.
Yeah.
Do not use Google Drive.
The player is awful.
But yes, for those of you who don't do YouTube because you think music videos are dead, first of all, you have a phone that has a video recorder on it. That's a music video. No one gives a fuck. Just make it fun. You can do it that way. And no one gives a fuck. You can just go pull down a little crappy video from Canva or Unsplash or anywhere else, or just put a picture up or take a picture of your dog. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Put some music on YouTube and watch yourself grow.
I posted a video years ago that I was at the Denver Zoo, and I saw there was a giant cow or a bull with giant horns, some type of,
Hey, listen, I had tacos
creature.
the night before. That's not cool.
And its name was Jeff, and Jeff was snacking on something and just laying in a mud bowl. Like a mud puddle, chewing on something. And I shot a 3-minute video of this fucking cow in a puddle chewing. And I put my music video to that.
Yes.
You can do stuff like that.
You absolutely should. I mean, we could get into it all day long. I have these graphics and numbers. And this is some shit I do. As I've run people's YouTube channels up, 25, 35,000 subscribers, hundreds of thousands of views. And everyone looks at that as views. And I'm like, no, that's not what it is. They have 25, 30,000 people on their list now. And that is 30,000, 100,000 plays, streams. It doesn't pay the same way, but it can pay eventually a lot better eventually.
Especially if you're going back to the Kickstarter thing we were talking about earlier. If you're looking for a way to grow your list as well, this is another great way to do it.
Absolutely.
They all feed into each other, and it's all part of a complete breakfast.
Yeah,
a great way to stay in shape.
All right, let's get to the sink of the week. Jeff.
Jeff.
That was Jeff from the Denver Zoo. I gotta go see it. I gotta go to the zoo soon.
Yeah, go to the zoo. It's lovely.
All right, I wax poetic about YouTube. You go.
You're going to be a little annoyed because mine's from the same show as yours is, because I just started a new show.
I love it.
I know. Aren't you excited? I mean, granted, Loot has been out for a couple of years.
Yeah, but season 2 just dropped.
Season 2 just dropped, so I was seeing all the ads. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to, watch this. And so far, it's fine. Maya Rudolph is fucking great in it. The rest of the characters are getting there. But my sync of the week is this is something I also like to I tell people to watch the end of their favorite shows. If you're watching SVU or you're watching, I don't know, there's a new one on fucking CBS called Tracker. The end of the show has got this wrap up montage where you have some type of mid-tempo shoegazer tune, or something like that that's going on in the background while they're saying, I'm sorry, we can release the body to you now, or something like that, right? And it's just like this thing. Well, at the end of the first episode of Loot, there's kind of this, this nice little montage, and Free by Denise Williams starts playing, and I forgot what a delicious little soul piece that is, and that was in episode 1 of season 1, and I was like, okay. And then there's a couple of needle drops in the second episode. I was like, oh, that's a delicious drop as well. So I'm really enjoying the music supervision, and that was according to the Internet Movie Database, Charlie Haggard was the supervisor on Loot.
Yes. Listen, okay, so mine's from Loot too. This is how you guys know that we just let it fly. This isn't planned. We didn't know. We didn't know who was watching what. We don't give assignments here. We give you the real shit, man. So yeah, mine's from Loot as well. Apple TV. Here's what I'll say about Loot. It's not a great television show. It's fun.
Yeah.
It is probably the weakest television show on Apple TV, but it is really fun to watch. Like, it is a little bit mindless. It's a little bit cringy. It's a little bit like dorky. And it's, you know, it's way over the top, and it's meant to be.
Yeah.
You come for Maya Rudolph and you stay for, you know, some of the fun stuff. But but I will tell you this. The music keeps me.
Yeah.
And the music is so fucking good. The encyclopedia of hip hop.
Oh, yeah.
And R&B that they use all over the place. In an upcoming episode, there is a whole long thing about Taylor Swift and Swifties that you will see.
Excellent.
It's getting better in the second season. This is one of the ones I call it. This is what I watch for, like, to burn out. This is what I watch, like, at 12:30 to try to go to sleep. Like, if I miss the end of it, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll go back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and it's short. They're little 30s. So mine is from season 2, episode 3. It's Don't Sweat the Technique by Eric B. and Rakim.
Oh, very nice.
A fucking great banger song, first of all. But the scene it's in is so goddamn good.
Yeah.
It's about a smoke detector battery chirping, which is a meme in itself.
Yeah.
It's also a meme within the black community. It's a hilarious thing. And it's basically her trying to turn it off, to get rid of it, to reach it, to knock it down. And so when you paired this song with that, Don't Sweat the Technique, with her taking a broom to it, with her jumping up on, putting it in a blender, her, like, all of this shit that she's trying to do to get the goddamn battery to stop chirping. It's brilliant. And I will shout out, so Charlie Haggard definitely is one of the music supervisors. There's a secondary one, Carrie Druden. But I will shout out, and I will always shout out the music editors. These people that do God's work in there. Jennifer Barrack. And it may be Barak. I don't know her. I don't know how to say her last name. Her name is Jennifer Barak. And she does the music editing. And they do a great job of interspersing the music into the scenes. Now, this is a little bit deeper music supervision shit where it's not just a needle drop. It's how you bring it in and bring it out. Which verse you start with, which verse you don't, that kind of shit. So she does an excellent job. They do a really good job on this show with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, don't sweat the technique.
So far, so good.
Yes, very nice.
Very nice.
All right, let's wrap this sucker up while we got a shot here. Thank you, Kelsey, for all your work today. Thank you, everybody in the studio audience. Fuck off. Get out of here. Make sure to check out StuMillerMusic.com. He has no time for you right now, but you can book him.
Right now.
You can book him for a little bit later, and if you listen to him, he'll work with you. If you don't, you know, you can get the fuck out of here. Remember to rate and subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Leave a hilarious comment where you can. You can follow us at 2ShotsMusicPod. That's the number 2ShotsMusicPod. Wherever you follow people, you can email us 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com. That's the number 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com. Do you have anything to add?
No, that was beautiful. I can't believe you did that in one breath.
All right, until we talk to you the next time, we hope you write a great song because we love you. Goodbye.
Good.